Jean-Pierre.
Spell it.
Jennifer, Jennifer. Jean-Pierre, spelling Jean-Pierre.
Tell me about today's vigil. Is it in solidarity with SVMH or is it for your own grievances here at Natividad?
So it's in solidarity. We at Natividad in Monterey County, we are along with a lot of hospitals in our county, the state, and the nation, with California Nurses Association, are standing up to protest the highest quality of patient care, patient safety, and nurse safety for all of us to take care of our patients. We do stand in solidarity with SVMH. As you know, they have 9 positive COVID-19 patients that are nurses. I also found out today we have 1 Watsonville hospital nurse that is infected with COVID-19, and we stand along with them. Behind me, you can see there's 165 bags with individual nurses, fallen nurses that have died from COVID-19, and we stand in solidarity and remembrance of them. What we have here at Monterey County, we're facing a lot of things that have to do with patient safety, and that's our main goal here today, is to pressure our employer to keep the highest isolation precautions and safety precautions to protect our patients and to protect the nurses and protect those that we care for, especially for COVID-19.
What do you feel the hospital's not doing enough of?
So right now what they've instituted is mandated extra shifts for our critical care nurses. That was instituted 2 weeks ago. The hospital's been chronically short-staffed, which puts a burden on the nurses to pick up extra shifts, and they've mandated us. During mandation, when it comes to extra shifts for nurses, that causes harm to patients when nurses are not rested and not getting the breaks that they should have. Also, you're causing a lot of burnout for nurses that are already working really hard to take care of our patients through a 12-hour shift period to pick up extra shifts. Just recently, last week, the hospital instituted a new policy when it comes to downgrading our COVID-19 patients in their isolation, which means is instead of retesting patients, they want to use a systematic approach as far as what are the symptoms of the patient, and depending on that, they're going to decide whether or not to take them off of airborne isolation. We nurses of Monterey County want to pressure our senior administration to keep the highest isolation possible, which is airborne isolation, which we are instituting at this moment. We want to keep it that way because we want to keep our frontline ground zero nurses safe, but we want to keep our patients safe as well as our community that we serve here in the county hospital.
Why are you so short-staffed at the moment here in Natividad?
So chronically, we've been short-staffed prior to COVID-19 pandemic hit. I'm not quite sure what the causes are for the short-staffed. I know that we need the nurses to be there to take care of our patients, which we are doing. But we need the employer to be able to staff appropriately so we can take care of those patients. I work in an intensive care unit, and we take care of the sickest of the COVID-19 patients, and we need adequate staffing so we can do our jobs. And we are doing our jobs. It's just that we need the staff. We need to be staffed appropriately all the time. And it's always been a chronic problem. It hasn't just been because of the pandemic hitting. It's caused more of a burden because now we're seeing more sick patients coming in, and it's increasing the workload for all of us, which we're doing, but we want to have the safe patient-nurse ratios to keep everybody safe, to keep our patients safe.
Anything else you'd like to add? Anything important to talk about?
What I want to also add is the hospital's also been having talks about using a decontamination system called the Battelle system, which basically means that they would take our N95 mats, decontaminate those in this certain process, and then return them to the nurses to reuse. It's unsafe, it's untested. We don't want to be guinea pigs to this. We don't know if it's going to be safe for us or the patients, and it's too high of a risk for us to take. We want to say, provide us the PPE that we need so we can do our jobs. Along with that, perinatal nurses, there's been a few that have threatened to get suspended because of their recertifications for their NRP and ACLS were not renewed during the pandemic. As you know, there hasn't been many courses available for the nurses to take, and some nurses are getting threatened that they would get suspended if they didn't have their recertification. The American Heart Association and the NRP have already made a statement that it is okay, and they've extended everyone's expired certifications for NRP and ACLS. But our employer is not honoring that. They are threatening to suspend these nurses. These nurses are charge nurses and perinatal who are critical in their position because, like I mentioned already, their units, like a lot of our units in the hospital, they're already gravely understaffed. So we're here to stand up against that. We're here to show our respect for the 165 fallen nurses that have died from COVID alone, as we know of. The bags behind you have 2 light candles, and they have the names of all the individual nurses that have died from COVID and representing their deaths and their memorializing them as a visual. And along with the 9 nurses that I mentioned from Salinas Valley, and then the one we just found out today at Monterey. We're fortunate. I haven't heard of any nurses here in become positive of COVID, and we want to keep it that way. But even though we haven't luckily gotten sickened from COVID from our work here at the hospital in Monterey County, we need to show solidarity to those nurses that have, because they're just across town, and we stand with them. They were doing their jobs, and their employers to be able to protect them. And so they're risking their lives, and they're risking the lives of their families when they go home to them, and also the patients that they take care of. I'm going to open it up to anybody that would like to speak to the crowd if they want to share anything. This is going to be an hour long. We plan to be here until 8:30. If anybody wants to share anything with us, I'll open it up to anybody's comments. Come up and take the podium. In the meantime, as more people slowly come in, we plan to stand here and have some chanting to do, along with a couple press people. Does anybody want to say anything at this time or share anything? No? No? Okay. Thank you so much for coming. I know it's really hard to stand up and, have these really hard discussions with your coworkers about like what we think is important for us and what we want as a culture at the hospital in Monterey County. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to be out here. I know it's really hard to stand up against the employer. It's not easy, and it is definitely scary because we don't want to be targeted, but the more people that do it, the safety we are is in numbers, because they know that we have a solid foundation and that all the nurses have each other's back. So at this time, as far as like perinatal being exposed and infected with COVID, I feel like we all are perinatal, because this could be us, that could be us. Like, I work in the intensive care unit, and we take care of the sickest COVID patients, and we want to have the highest precautions when it comes to taking care of those patients, because we ultimately are risking our lives and jeopardizing our lives and risking our families' lives by coming to work. But if we don't have the proper precautions to do our job, we're risking everybody's lives, as well as our own, and that's very scary. I don't think there's any job other than what we do as a frontline worker. As far as ground zero nurses, that's what we are. If you can take care of a COVID patient, if you're in the line of frontline working, you're a ground zero nurse, or you're a ground zero worker, and that's what we are. And standing out here represents that, and what we do in our community in Salinas, where we take care of the most vulnerable patients in our town and in Monterey County. So thank you very much for showing up and standing up. I really appreciate you being out here. When public health is under attack, what do nurses do? When frontline nurses are under attack, what do nurses do? When our patients are under
The more we push and get involved, man, get involved.
fallen nurses have died from COVID. Each white bag has a tea light and the name of the nurse that has died from COVID-19. And this is our remembrance of them, memorial, if you would say, to honor those that have died. That's what those are. What do nurses do when their patients are under attack? What do nurses do when public health is under attack? I can't hear you. What do nurses do?
Wait.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, extra shifts have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, extra shifts have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, extra shifts have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, extra shifts have got to go. Okay, so basically, I guess, you know, so I think I'll just share some important things that are going on here at Monterey County, in the hospital, and as far as, you know, as a critical care nurse, what we're seeing on the ground as ground zero nurses taking care of COVID patients. Hi, my name is Jennifer Jean-Pierre. I'm a registered nurse in the intensive care unit. I'm also the chief nurse representative of my union, the California Nurses Association. Our nurses are out here tonight joining thousands of our fellow nurses across the Central Coast, across the state, and around the nation to protest healthcare employers' failures to provide highest precautionary level of personal protective equipment and to protect nurses on the front lines of the deadly novel coronavirus. At Monterey County, nurses are facing many of the same unacceptable working conditions as many thousands of others. Senior administration has mandated permanent nurses who have chosen to work at our county hospital because this is our community. But we also care for some of the most vulnerable patients. We cannot care for patients when senior administrators are making arbitrary decisions that put the nurses on the last line of defense for public health if we are not protected. I want to share some crucial examples of what our nurses are facing. Just a few weeks ago, upper management imposed mandatory extra shifts to force permanent nurses to cover staffing shortages that they knew about months before the pandemic hit. This is seriously increasing the risk of errors and causes burnout when we need our nurses the most. I work in the ICU with some of the most critical and seriously ill patients suffering from COVID-19. Adding to this unsafe burden, nurses across the hospital are working 12-hour shifts where we often can't take even a 15-minute break, or let alone go to the restroom. We have to hurry back to the bedside. Top executives also have changed our protocol imperative for RN safety and when caring for patients suffering from the deadly novel virus by suddenly downgrading patients from isolation. This is a major protection that ensures our frontline nurses have the necessary infection prevention protocols in place. Without it, our ICU nurses battling to fight this deadly virus and protect our neighbors and patients are not as safe. To make matters worse, we are seeing punitive and unnecessary actions being taken against our nurses, such as suspensions for certifications that the American Heart Association and other professional organizations issued waivers for when the pandemic began. Our fellow area hospitals and most other CNA represented hospitals across the state have honored these temporary waivers, yet senior administration at Monterey County arbitrarily imposed unnecessary change and is threatening to suspend our dedicated nurses when we are already in short staffing crisis. Finally, we are facing constant warnings that nurses may be compelled to use untested and unsafe so-called decontamination N95 masks that should be disposed after use. Our Monterey County nurses will always run into danger to save and care for our patients. We are not afraid of COVID-19, but we are not expendable. The bottom line for nurses is always patient safety and not hospital profits or budgets. We are calling on hospital executives to rescind these unnecessary, unsafe mandates and immediately get critical nurses we need to protect our patients and public health. Thank you. with our staffing being a problem, this also causes another issue for that department because they're also shortly staffed. And so taking away a charge nurse because of a recertification causes problems for the patient and also for the unit.
You want to say what is the certification for?
It's for ACLS, so Advanced Cardiovascular Life Support.
Okay.
And the American Heart Association has given waivers out to the nurses, but it's not honoring the waivers. They want to suspend those nurses that don't have renewed certifications. After a couple of years, we're supposed to recertify. During the pandemic, there wasn't any classes being offered, and if they were very limited. And so that was problematic. And so they had waived next research for 120 days, but the employer will not honor it.
Okay. Anything else that's happening at Natividad?
Excuse me. That's happening at Natividad. And, also we're standing in solidarity with our sister hospital, Salinas Valley.